Get ready. It's time!
Good evening, GGTV land. What's up, guys? It's Tim and Sam coming to you live again for our second live podcast ever. It is Friday evening. It's 7-something, and Sammy, how you doing, bro? Hey, Sammy, are you muted? Are you?
Thank you. There we go.
Hey, Sammy, how you doing tonight?
That's what you get for getting a new headset. I'm doing better now, man.
Yeah, good, man. It's a beautiful evening, man.
It is. I've been looking forward to this week for a little bit. Getting to bring in one of the more exciting guests that I think we could have right now, and I'm just excited. I'm just excited about this.
Oh, shoot. You know what? Let's not waste any more time. Let's just get right to it. Without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Preston, West Virginia's own mixed martial artist, Slick Rick Caruso.
What's happening, guys? What's happening, Joing?
Also known as the Raz Slayer. He won a lot of memorabilia in our early Raz.
But I gotta ask our audience though, what do you guys think about Slick Rick Caruso?
Still got it.
Yes, sir. What's up, Rick?
Just enjoying a little vacation, a little R&R before we buckle down on the last couple of weeks of fight camp and get ready to put on an entertaining show.
Heck yeah. How's you're at the beach or you're at Myrtle?
Yeah, we came down to Myrtle, spent a couple of days down this way. It's nice, where raining some and everything, so the weather's not like 100 degrees, which I like the hot weather, so it wouldn't really be bothersome. But
the most important,
you got to get.
Oh, go ahead, Sammy.
You got to get you got to get you some training in while you're down there.
Yeah, I've actually got one of my boxing coaches from West Virginia. He's a traveling nurse. He works down here in Myrtle Beach now, so we've been getting some mid-work and things in, and then there's a gym down here, Evolve MMA, that's invited me to come in, so we're gonna go check them out tomorrow. They actually have a really good Muay Thai coach there, so we'll get a little bit of work in with those guys, and then get back to West Virginia Tuesday morning, and 6 o'clock we're back at it again.
Yes, sir. How's your kids enjoying the beach?
Oh man, they love it. It's my newborn's first time here, but the rest of my kids, they're all beach babies anyway. Eventually we'll move to the Outer Banks when I strike it rich or become a world champion.
Heck yeah.
Tell me, Rick, what does it mean? For those of us who are ignorant to it, what does it mean to be able to go and even train for one day under somebody different? What can that do for the fighter?
It's 100% different look. For instance, a simple analogy, I'm around the same guys that in West Virginia. I train with them every day, and we spar every Friday night, and it's the same cats. Like my coach Derek and Coach Jeremy, we've been together for almost 10 years now. So we know each other's moves. We can throw this and that and be funny, and we don't really get to buckle down and see something different. I know what Jeremy's gonna throw. I know what Derek's gonna throw. We still work on that. But down here, I get to work with someone different. I don't know these guys. They don't know me. So they don't know my tendencies and vice versa. And so it's a different look is something awesome, because the guy that I'm gonna fight, he's not gonna fight the same way that the gentlemen in my gym fight. He's not gonna fight the same way he fought on his last video. He should be training like everybody, and he'll fight different. So I like to get in as much training with different people as possible, and being able to come down here and run into one of my boxing coaches down here, and as well as being able to go to this other gym, it's like finding a diamond when you don't expect to find one. it's icing on the cake.
Sweet, dude. You know, before we start getting into the nitty gritty, the main thing we want to talk about is, of course, your fight coming up next month in Kingsport. But we want to just start off with what you do here in West Virginia, and that's with, you know, you teach and I guess you run to Advantage Martial Arts, right? Can you tell us a little about what's available there to learn and stuff like that?
Advantage Martial Arts is 704 Thorn Street in Princeton. It's right there at the Athens Crossroads. So if you're at Grant's and you look across the street, there used to be a comic book shop there before they moved. That's where we're at. Derek Lambert is our owner and head boxing coach, head MMA instructor there. We offer classes for everybody from ages 4 to 104 and so on if you're lucky enough to be that far. I teach youth boxing, which is from ages 6 to 13. That's Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6:30 to 7:45-ish. Well, I'm sorry, 6:45 to 7:30. We also offer youth martial arts / pancrase. Pancrase is basically the oldest known martial arts. It was in the first Olympics, and it is everything. It's jiu-jitsu, wrestling with strikes. Then we also offer that for adults. We offer adult boxing as well, a fitness class that's an all-ladies core fitness class. Once you get if say you sign your kids up for the pancrase class, once they've been in for a while and they've belted up, because we have a ranking system and things like that, there's a couple of other classes that are advanced classes they could jump in, like competition classes for learning team jiu-jitsu and things of that sort. We also got a little dragons class for little kids ages 4 to 6. We start, basically getting them in so that they can learn to accept instruction from someone that's not their parent.
Yeah.
Learn a little bit of discipline, that sometimes you can't scratch your nose. You got to stand in line at attention and so on. And it's really great. It works for the kids. When we first started it, we caught a lot of slack from the different people in the community because, let's face it, you've got a bunch of men that like to get paid to punch each other. It's, and women, and it's kind of a weird stigma to start with, but I think we've been open now for 6 going on 7 years, and we nothing but success stories. And I've been there from day one, and I enjoy. I've got 5 kids of my own. I never thought I'd have that many kids. I never thought I'd coach kids and everything, but I enjoy it, and I see my students out. I've got some kids now. I had a kid that used to be a student of mine. He's 17, almost 18 now. Called me the other day to go out to lunch with me. Took me out to lunch just to tell me, man, I remembered something you said to me 10 years ago, 6, 7, 10 years ago, and I didn't get in trouble the other day because of it. And little things like that, that's why I do it. I enjoy it. I got in trouble as a kid, and giving these children another outlet to do things where they don't get in trouble and they learn. And we're building some champions. We've got some kids over there they'll be world champions. They'll win Golden Gloves next year for sure. And it's just awesome. It's like you get to watch these kids go from not knowing how to walk, because walking in martial arts is completely different than walking in life. But you get to watch them go from not knowing how to walk to, well, for instance, Jeremy Mitchell being a world champion right now. Or Derek, he just won his fight. He's fighting for the ABA welterweight title in October, right there in Bluefield. So that'll be awesome.
And I like how you mentioned, about how you like coaching. And for me personally, I don't care what sport it is, whether it's football, soccer. You describe that impact you had on that kid. He's 17, 18 now, and that impact you had on that kid, years back, and he's still remembering things you said 10 years ago, man. For me, because me and Sammy, we used to coach, but that's what we live for, man, is to make that impact with kids, and cause they're very impressionable, and they soak, they're sponges, and that's what it's all about for me. But I also like what you said earlier before that was, I was going to ask you, what is the dynamic now like with when you got, like you said, your small dragons, whatever, And a lot of kids, this generation is different. They're not as disciplined. I hate to say it, but that's just the way it is. But so how do you approach that?
Listen, I've got a college degree in early elementary education. The day I graduated with my degree, I looked at my grandmother and said, I do not want to be a teacher because these kids have zero discipline. And even if they have some discipline, they have no motivation. They want to play a video game, which is absolutely awesome. But if you're into martial arts, it's not a video game, and it's not, you got to do things a certain way. And it really is, we have some tough kids, and they're tough to break. And that's kind of rough to say it, but I'm old school. We break them, and then we build them back up.
Sure.
And that's how it was done with me. And when I grew up, it was, if you didn't listen, you got your butt whooped.
No.
I don't think people whip their kids anymore.
No.
Well, and it's nice to know that there's a community organization that's helping bring a little discipline to some of the kids, because some parents really need help with that, and
Yep.
Mixed martial arts and karate training and all of that really can help turn an undisciplined kid into a kid that's more confident and understands the implications of their actions a little bit better.
100%. That's what martial arts. Wrestling did for me. I consider wrestling a martial art, and
Sure.
it did that for me. It made me become a man per se, like a man should be, and had some respect and discipline and things like that. And we have quite a few parents who bring their kids in specifically because they, like you said, they need a little help. We've also got some people, the court system sends we've had a few trouble, or the court considered trouble kids come through. They weren't trouble. They were awesome in our classes. We enjoyed them, but they just needed a little bit of confidence, a little bit of coaching, and a little bit of help, and a point in the right direction of what to do with their energy that they have to expend.
So you said that you started with wrestling. Now, is that how you started your climb into the MMA circle?
Actually, it's a really funny story. Yes, I wrestled in high school. I was a state champ in North Carolina, and I never considered doing anything MMA wise. I mean, I watched the first UFC with my parents. My dad ordered every one of them. I think I still got them where he recorded them on VHS way back then. But I never really considered doing it. And I moved to West Virginia, and I started college, and I was working at McAdoo's. And this kid, he's one of my best friends, John Christian. He'll swear to this day that he didn't do this. But he signed me up for the Rough and Rowdy, and then came to McAdoo's because we weren't friends then. And he told everybody at McAdoo's that I had signed up for the Rough and Rowdy and was going to get beat up. Well, then I seen my name online, and I couldn't be a punk and not show up, and so on and so on. And, well, I took second place with a broken hand, and, well, I had my first cage fight about 2 months after that, and it lasted 14 seconds. John was the guy I trained with to get ready for the fight. And so it expanded from there. I actually, right after that first fight, I ran into Derek Lambert in the gas station I was working at. He had on a Rough and Rowdy jacket. And so I was like, trying to pull his man card a little bit, and I was like, yeah, man, those 1 minute rounds are pretty cool, but you should try MMA. I just won my first fight, and I showed him my trophy. This guy walks out to his car and gets a 170-pound welterweight title he had just won 2 weeks before in the cage. And was like, yeah, would you come up to the shack and train with me? So ever since then, I've been training with Derek Lambert, and that's how Advantage Martial Arts got started. Way back in the day, it was Mountaineer MMA, and we transferred to Advantage Martial Arts. We've grown. It's 7-8 years old now. We've got multiple champions, pro fighters. It's awesome. I enjoy the fighting. It's fun. We don't get in trouble for it,
Yeah, no doubt, dude. That's awesome how you got into that, and that kind of and anybody who's watching, we'll have, if you guys want to submit some questions to Rick, we're going to get that later for like a little Q&A maybe, but I guess some of the people out there, Rick, would like to know personally, what is your favorite strike or submission?
Well, as far as submission, my hat says choke dealer. I absolutely love it. I love all forms of chokes. But I have not fought MMA or done jits. Well, I practice jits, all the time. But I haven't competed in a jiu-jitsu competition or fought MMA in a couple of years. So I would have to say that my favorite thing is striking. And if I had to pick one specific strike, it'd probably be a jab because, well, I could beat someone's rear end for a whole fight with just a jab, I feel like.
For you guys that haven't watched Rick's fights, go watch. He's got a monster lightning quick jab. He really does. You wouldn't want to eat one of them jabs.
I might want to review one. No, I'm kidding.
We had one of the only knockouts I've got. Well, it ended with a submission because I didn't realize I had knocked the gentleman out, but I did it with a jab, and I like the jab. It's there. I'm really long for my weight class, so it works.
Who's your biggest biggest inspiration? Whether it be aside from your family, I know how that works, but what's been the biggest inspiration for you being a fighter, or who?
Shoot. As far as like other fighters and taking inspiration from people that have done it, I enjoy Muhammad Ali. He stayed true to himself his entire fight career, and it was just a great athlete that was also an entertainer. Because once you decide to get paid for fighting, and it's no longer a hobby, and it's a business. You've got to entertain too, because if you don't entertain a little bit, nobody's gonna want to pay to see you fight. So you could be the best fighter in the world, but if you're not entertaining, you're not gonna make any money, and you're not gonna get labeled as the best fighter in the world because the number one organizations aren't gonna pick you up to see how good you are if you can't sell a ticket, which really sucks. It kind of diminishes the value of martial arts a little bit, but I want to get paid for punching people, so gotta entertain a little bit.
No, I definitely agree with that. You can see where the sport of boxing and any kind of martial arts now, even with the UFC, MMA, you see where it I think, or at least in my opinion, some of the integrity has kind of gone out the window. Like you said, the value of the sport itself, the pureness, where I understand you want to make money, it's a business, but then it can get to the point where that's all they care about is the dollar. They don't care about anything else, but they don't care about the heart of the sport anymore.
Yep, I'll say it because I seen it on the tip of your tongue. The pause. They could step out my sport.
Well, there comes I didn't mean to interrupt, but there comes a point where you can't let the entertainment value outweigh the fighting value, and that's the direction that it's going in. And really in the UFC and with the pause in boxing, let's have fighters that can talk, not talkers that are trying to be fighters.
Yep. And these guys are fighting. I mean, people that can't fight.
Right.
or if you're gonna box a guy that's an Olympic wrestler, and then you think you're a fighter because of it. Now, I'm not taking away from these guys training, because Logan and Jake, they train. They're good trainers, but and they got the money to have good people to train with, and I appreciate the fact they bring different eyes to the sport. But you're not special, and you definitely should not be making $1 million or getting a exhibition match with Mayweather, right, or something like that. And I mean, it's a bunch of new eyes on the sport, and I enjoy it. And it's making money. I mean, he did bring back to MMA fighters don't get paid enough. I mean, boxing, even though they want to say boxing's dead, but it's not. Boxing's where the money's at. And I like making money, which is why I mainly went to striking sports. We get paid more at striking. MMA fight, they offer to pay me $400 to make weight, $400 to if I win the fight. I mean, that's $800. With my construction company, I make that in a half a day. Whereas boxing, well, I've had offers of $10,000 just to fight.
Wow.
I didn't even have to win. Yeah, but that's just the nature of the beast. And the pause broke. They brought notice to that, especially with Askren making more money in that fight than he had made in any MMA fight. But you guys can't really fight.
Well, you got to think that the only reason they've done it is because the platform they've built, with their podcasts, and they already had a platform. They didn't have to start at the bottom and then, as a fighter and then work their way up. They have that platform, and yeah, you're right. They brought in a whole bunch of new fans, but sad to say, mostly they're keeping up with the Kardashian fans.
Yep, it's like, and then it's spread over into other things. I am 100% not taking a jab at my boss's company. But we had the influencers, as they called it, the YouTube guys fighting on the last bare knuckle pay-per-view. And, for instance, I didn't even know who the guys were, to be honest with you. Blueface, he's a rapper, which, hey, that guy could actually fight a little bit. He was better than a few of the guys on the bare knuckle roster, I think. I think he beat the hell out of Brandon Lambert. But then there was Olaf. There were a couple of other YouTube guys and stuff, and it's like they were doing rough and rowdy style fights on the bare knuckle pay-per-view, and I'm like, this is for what? And then somebody jumped in the ring. Like, it just brought a bunch of, it's like old school WCW stuff, and just not what you want when you're a real fighter that's busted your butt to get to get those chances and those opportunities. To see someone who can get a couple of likes and pretend to fight get an opportunity like that, and those guys made bank, but it brought more eyes to the show. And
sure.
The Bare Knuckle app is now one of the top 5 downloaded apps in the world and all that stuff. So, props to them. It's serving the purpose. I hope the fact that we have those new viewers now, they continue to tune in, and my paychecks get higher for actually knowing how to fight.
And speaking of being a fighter, Rick, and guys, if you're just joining in, welcome to the GGTV podcast, Jerd Nation podcast, brought to you by Subway. Eat fresh. Anyway, no, you as a fighter, Rick, what does it mean to you to be a fighter? What personally, what does it mean to you?
Well, as crazy as it sounds, well, not crazy. I like the respect that I get. It's weird. When I first started doing it, I thought, oh man, I did a rough and rowdy. I'm a badass. No, now it's kind of like I enjoy people. Hey, Rick, I know you. You're my son's coach, and they hold the door for you. Or your dad's that bare knuckle guy, and he's real good. And it's just I guess I enjoy the recognition, even though I'm an introvert. They don't like people. But it's fulfilling, and I guess I have it allows me to have an aurora about myself, or a false recognition that I'm a little more special than I am. But being the fighter, it does, and being the coach, it does give me a little platform to influence people and to try to make sure, like I said, the youth in our area, we live in a bad area anyway, as far as what the kids can get into. And so being able to say, hey, I did some bad stuff when I was a kid. I got in a little bit of trouble. I got a whole bunch of tickets for street racing and stuff like that. I don't think the kids street race anymore. I think they do most of that on the video games. But just because you got in a little bit of trouble, it's not, you can do something with it. So being the fighter and being the coach, it gives me the platform to to be an example. That's what I meant. An example for the children and the younger generation that you don't have to stick to the one thing that you got a reputation for per se. So I enjoy being the fighter now because we don't get looked at like we used to even 5 years ago. 5 years ago, you tell somebody that, oh, I'm a pro boxer, they're like, hey, yeah, whatever. And nobody wants to, like, I'm not letting my kids around that guy, you know. But now you tell somebody you're a fighter and everything, oh, or you coach, oh, you coach. We've got that around here, and it's still crazy to me that the people that don't know that we have it there. But when they see it, it's something else, and it's just I enjoy being able to open up people's eyes.
Well, you kind of touched on it a little bit there too, but big time fights, small time fights, big career, short career, long career. What's your legacy going to be when your fighting days are done? What do you hope to leave as a fighter for people to look at and as a legacy?
That has changed a ton. When I first started this, I wanted to be a world champion, and I'm still going to be world champion. I will be bare knuckle world champion before it's done and over with, and I'll be in the bare knuckle Hall of Fame. That's one of the legacies that I want to leave. I want to make it to the Hall of Fame for the same reason that I decided I wanted to be a pro fighter. People said I couldn't do it, or they laughed at it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you know." And then when I said I wanted to do bare knuckle, people thought I was crazy and all that jazz. And it wasn't even legal when I said I wanted to do it. Now here we are. It's legal. It's awesome. I'm going to be there. But like I said, originally my legacy was to be a world champ and all this stuff. Now my legacy, when I'm done with fighting and all this, I don't even care if people remember the fights. I want them to remember that I was a good coach, that I helped, like my student. I want him to, when he's 30, I want him to remember, man, I had lunch with Coach Rick, and I still remember having lunch with Coach Rick, and those little things. Just like my wrestling coach, Coach York, I still every so often I'll do something, and I'm like, yep, that was Coach York, and just being remembered like that. That's the kind of legacy I want to leave, and I want my kids to, 5 kids is a lot of kids. And them not remembering any of my screw ups, them remembering, Dad tried. No matter what he did, he busted his butt, he put in the work he needed, and he chased his dreams. And we can do the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, shoot, I'm 33 years old, and I'm sitting here and a father of 5 and telling people I'm gonna be world champion.
Yeah.
And I was not an amateur boxer. I never did any amateur boxing. And you got people now like Lomachenko. He's going to be world champion. He had 300 plus amateur bouts, and he's not 33. He's like 28, but I'm going to do it. And I'm going to keep chasing my dreams, and the kids are going to know they can keep chasing their dreams, and my students are going to know no matter what, chase your dreams. If it makes you happy, do it.
No, that's
an awesome answer.
Yep.
I mean, you can't ask for a better answer from a person or a coach or a fighter or a dad or anything. I mean, that's just perfect. And just kind of one little subset of that question is, you get to have your dream fight with anybody ever to fight. Who would it be?
Anybody ever.
1v1 me, bro.
Let's see.
Butterbean. Just say Butterbean.
that would be awesome. Dream fight with anybody that I could fight, I would probably want to shoot. I want to fight Dominic Cruz.
Okay.
Just because I really like and respect the guy, and that would just be a cool fight. That would be fun. I would relish sharing the ring with him. But if I could have any fight that just pick a fight to fight somebody legit right now, I gotta say that green-haired geezer from Bare Knuckle, just so hopefully I could end his contract. Like, I fight that guy any weight class ever, because he's one of those guys that got in just from running his mouth. Like, he wasn't even a YouTube guy. He told people he had like some Muay Thai record, and I don't think the guy's ever put on a pair of gloves.
He just calmed his way in. He's like, "Hey, here's my record. Let me in."
Yeah, he said he was 42-0 or something. And that guy, my wife could beat that guy up with her hands tied behind her back.
Right, we pay to see that. We gotta make that happen. We gotta make it happen, dude.
But actually, I'm looking forward to my upcoming fight. I wish I could look past it, but if I look past it, then I'm not giving Preston the respect that he deserves, and he's a damn good fighter. So.
And that's a good segue right there, bro. You just bring it up. So you know what? Tell us, explain to us how this fight came about for you.
So we're fighting Preston Schick September 3rd in Kingsport, Tennessee, and Jeremy. The Showcase MMA is the promotion, and one of my teammates, Jeremy, has fought on their promotion quite a few times, and we go out and check out his fights and things, and I'm always there and telling the promoters, hey, I'm available if you guys need something. I'm available, because of course I'm signed to bare knuckle, but I'm free to do other things pending their approval, and this has got their approval. And Casey shot me a message, Preston's coach, and asked me if we were interested in the fight. And absolutely. I mean, no hesitation. Yes, let's get it. So I'm excited to fight close to home. It'll be a Muay Thai fight, so it'll be kickboxing with knees and elbows. Muay Thai, the art of 8 limbs. And Preston was undefeated as an amateur. He's undefeated in his pro career. I think he's 2-0 MMA. 1-0 boxing, and 1-0 or 2-0 kickboxing. So we'll look to take one of those O's away. And I could sit here and lie and tell you guys I'm going to knock him out real fast or something like that. But that's not the plan. I respect the guy a lot, and it's going to be a very entertaining war, because I believe, well, we're almost identical as far as build and things like that go. So our reach will be the same. He's got a good jab too, and we're gonna piece each other up. And at the end of the day, I feel like when this fight comes to this particular fight, it's gonna be who's got the heart and the willpower to keep going when the going gets tough.
Yeah,
and it's gonna be tough. I believe I'm the toughest fight Preston's had. He hasn't. Like I said, I've made it to the big show. I've been in bare knuckle and everything, so I'll be the biggest name he's fought. And besides just the name, I'm going to be the toughest fight he's fought. And unfortunately for Preston, I don't feel he's going to come away with the W.
You know, Rick, when I look at that poster right here, you know, with you and him, I can't help but first of all, I don't know what the photographer or the graphic designer was thinking, because he looks like a member of the Twilight family. He looks like a vampire. He's just all pale and gangly, but it's kind of funny when you look at it. But have you had any interaction with him at all? Or do you guys, like, before these kind of fights, do you swap film like, football coaches may do, or have you got to study him at all whatsoever?
I've seen his fights. We've talked a little bit on back and forth on Facebook. We have not done any of the trash talk or anything. Press is not really needed. I mean, we're going out here. We know what we're bringing to the table, and neither one of us really talk trash. I mean, we can if it's brought our way, but that's not the kind of people we are.
Right.
For this particular fight. But he's just a young kid, and that's his look. I mean, he's got the pretty boy look and stigma about him, but the damn kid can fight.
They could have airbrushed a tan or something.
Yeah, for sure. But
you said you'd watched his fights. How did you pick him apart? What do you see that can be exploited in your favor?
Pace will be nonstop. Whether it's now, when I say nonstop, whether it's slow, a slow, methodical, continuous pace, or 100 miles an hour, it's not gonna stop. And I think that pressure on him is gonna be, I'm not backing up. And that's going to be something different because I know they watch tape on me. I mean, we watch tape on them and everything, and I'm a counter fighter. So is he. So one of us is going to have to bite down here and just move forward. I'm your Huckleberry.
Guys, whoever's watching, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and submit those now, and then we'll get to those here in a minute. But go ahead, Rick.
I feel like normally my answer to that question would be my range, my distance. I'm going to jab this guy and pick him apart. But we're the same size. So I'm excited to be throwing kicks. It's been a long time since I've got to throw kicks and knees and elbows in a fight. Most of the time it's been just my hands here the past couple of years. So we've got some tricks up our sleeves with that, and I'm sure they're preparing for a kick-heavy arsenal. But mainly my main goal as far as picking Preston apart is just to break him with a constant moving forward pace. And if it doesn't break him, then the fans are in for one hell of a fight. I feel like this is going to be the best fight on the entire card. And I'm going to buy the pay-per-view myself so I can watch it afterwards just because it's going to be a heck of a I'm a fan of Preston, so it's cool to be fighting him, but I'm a fan of myself too. So
Nice.
Getting ready to just go in and bang it out.
So the pay-per-view, where will that be available at?
And I should have had this written down. And
That's okay.
Hope I'm not wrong, but it should be at fight.tv. If it's not at fight.tv, then Showcase will actually share a thing from it that'll have a link to their pay-per-view. But I know that most of the pay-per-views here lately coming out of Tennessee have been on fight.tv.
Okay.
And chances are the pay-per-view will either be $9.99 or $19.99, and that'll be access to the entire fight card. As of right now, it's shaping up to be an awesome fight card. Besides having me on it, I've got my teammate Jeremy Mitchell on it, and he'll be looking for the fastest knockout of his career, which will be tough to break, but I think he'll be able to beat that record. Chandler Cole will be fighting on it. He's Showcase's heavyweight champion. He just fought on PFL a couple of weeks ago in their tournament. He took that fight short notice. I think they'll have Randall Austin, who's a 125-pound pro fighter, plus their amateur card. And I'm not really up to date with their amateur card, but it's just a ton of people to keep up with on top of keeping up with the family too. So,
are there still tickets available?
Absolutely. We are running low ourselves on tickets, but tickets are available. Jeremy Mitchell has them at the gym, so you could go to shoot him a message on Facebook or his wife, Mary Mitchell, or you could stop by the gym any day of the week, anytime after 5 o'clock, and pick them up there. I think they're $40 for general admission and then $75 for VIP. There may be a couple of table seats left. Of course, they're a little more expensive. I'm not 100% sure, but I think they're actually sold out. But I think we've got about 20 of the 120 tickets we had to start with left. So they probably won't make it the next week or two.
Well, we've kicked around coming down, but we're just little poor boys at the moment. But we might try to make it down. I'd really like to see it in person. I think it'd be a good time, to follow up with you after the fight and talk about that afterwards. So if you're into that, we'll definitely do it.
Absolutely.
Hey, Rick, we got our first question from one of our viewers, from Josh Carver. He asked, what's your favorite style of fight?
Bare knuckle.
Punch face.
I like boxing in general as far as my favorite style of fight. It's truly a sweet science, and it takes anybody can throw punches for a minute, but when you're doing it for 36 minutes or more, it's a whole different story.
Talk a little bit about bare knuckle, because I know there's a lot of people that look at bare knuckle with a certain stigma attached to it, and a lot of those people really haven't watched it, so they don't understand. But it kind of explains, the intricate nature of bare knuckle boxing.
So, and in bare knuckle, there's two different types of bare knuckle fighting. There's bare knuckle boxing, which is a big deal in the UK, and they actually don't have a promotion that runs by that rule set here. But bare knuckle boxing is simply boxing rules, like to the T boxing rules, with no gloves. Whereas in the States, we have what they call bare knuckle fighting, which allows the clinch and allows you to work in the clinch. So essentially, in real boxing, normal boxing, not real boxing, but in normal boxing, I can't grab your head with one hand and throw a punch at you with the other one.
Right.
I have to either be holding you with both hands, which initiates a break in the action, or I need to be punching you with both hands. I can't grab you with one. And in bare knuckle fighting, I can grab you with one hand and hold you and punch you with the other one. As long as I'm still punching, there's not a break in the action. So with that being said, if you're not on your game 100% and picking your punches, and what I mean by picking your punches is you can't just wing punches, because a millimeter, this much, so a half inch, not a millimeter. But the difference between hitting someone right here and hitting them right here is the difference between their eye swelling shut and them hitting the mat, or them sticking their tongue out at you and saying you hit like a 2-year-old. I'd say a girl, but we got some girls in bare knuckle that knock me slap out. But in bare knuckle, the thing of it is you have to be on your game 100%, pinpoint punches, and it's not for the meek. One punch changes the whole game, and no gloves changes everything. Makes cuts a lot easier, swells a lot, happens a lot more, and everything. But in boxing, the glove was created to protect my hand, not your face.
Right.
So in boxing, I can throw a lot harder. My hands are wrapped. I've got that 10-ounce glove, 8-ounce glove, and when it connects with the top of your head, I don't break my hand. I punch the top of your head without a glove on, I'm going to break my hand or my wrist.
I remember.
Nope.
Go ahead. I was going to say, I remember the first time I heard about bare knuckle, my first reaction was, it's basically like human cockfighting. And that was my first thought. And then I watched it, and then I remember thinking, it's like the intricate nature of it. It really is unforgiving. Like, if you've got on gloves, you could make a mistake and be okay. Bare knuckle is not like that at all.
Nope. One slip and it's game over. I love it though. And truthfully, we haven't had as many broken hands and things as everyone expected. And it's because you can't go out there winging punches like you're trying to chop down a tree or something. Because when you do, you punch the top of somebody's head, your hand breaks. When it breaks or shatters, you're not throwing punches with it. I don't care how much adrenaline and everything you've got going through you. And if you do throw punches with it, they're not hurting. They're not bothering your opponent. And if I realize your hand's broke, I'm going to do everything I can to make you throw that punch at me. And I'll headbutt it if I have to. That's, it's nature of the beast.
Yeah, thank you for the question, Josh. He also says, I'm digging them pit vipers.
Listen, they ain't broke yet, and I ain't lost them, brother.
And you know what? My question, it comes from an area of all seriousness, Rick, and I think it's on the minds of millions of people around the world is in his prime. Can you, bare knuckling, can you take LeBron James?
Yes.
That's the answer I like to hear.
Look, we toe the line. They say toe the line. We take a step, and he'd fall down and say that I stepped on his foot or something and flop.
Come on, Ref, man. You see what he did, Ref. Come on, man.
There's a big story behind that question, and so that's why I'm laughing so hard. We won't go into it, but that was the perfect answer. I love it.
That was quick too. I love it. I love how quick it was.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's how fast I answered the gentleman that asked me to fight this next fight. Too.
Rick, would you like to? Yes.
Yep. And if you're gonna do this sport, that's how you have to be. Even though it's a business and you've got to be smart about it, starting in it, you just have to be yes. I mean, it's cliche saying you should be a yes man or woman, but just say yes. You're never really going to know how good you are until you face the best people.
You're exactly right.
With that being said, I believe that every human being should be in at least one fist fight in their life. It's not that bad.
You get past that first one, everything's cake from there, or what? It's like it's a little easier.
I feel like you win or lose, you come out with some self-worth. Even like if you've never been in a fight and you get into one, and the next day, say you got your butt kicked, the next day you're still, it wasn't as bad as I thought.
Right.
And I did it.
No, that's a good mind.
Be in at least one fist fight.
No, that's a good mindset to have, especially, today's culture with kids, maybe off topic, but I'll go to the subject of bullying in schools. They're not handling it or coping with it the way we used to back in the day. Either you let it happen to you or you do something about it. Now they're taking different avenues, and I hate that. But what would you say? Let's say somebody's scrolling through Facebook and they see this and they're being bullied at school, man, and they're thinking about, other things, or maybe they're thinking about fighting that bully. What do you want to say to them?
704 Thorn Street, Princeton, West Virginia. Come see me, and we will take care of this issue. At the same time, if you're not in Princeton, West Virginia, and like you're being bullied online or something, you're a kid, and like you don't want to say stuff back to them, shoot me a DM. I have no ill will or issues calling some little bully online a punk and talking junk to him. I will call him out. I bet he won't bully me. I don't care. I hate bullies, man. There's no reason.
No, I do too.
Any sort of way like that. Like my kids will not be bullied. They will not be bullies. They will not tolerate bullies. They'll stop it if they see it. So, and we've had quite a few students at the gym that was the case. They were being bullied at school or something, so their parents put them in class, and they're not bullied anymore. But 100% kids don't handle it like they used to. Words actually hurt these days, and I mean it's unfortunately it's the beast of what's going on now. Words do hurt people and they bother people, so
yeah,
we got to deal with it. And shoot, if somebody bullying you, send me a message.
I like that. We got another question coming in for you, Rick. You ready?
Yes, sir.
That's coming from Brent Bell. His question is, any concern on a slow pace in this fight or a high intensity and going deep into the fight?
I would love to go deep into the fight. Simply because I'm a shark, and the deeper we get in the waters, the better I can swim.
I like that.
But no matter what the pace is of the fight, I'm gonna keep pushing it. So if it's a slow pace, we throw 10 punches per round, then that's the pace. But I'm gonna be in his face pushing it, and the thought process won't be slow. I'll have it. We'll have the minds will be going a million miles an hour to see where we're going. So no, I'm not really as conceited as it sounds. I'm not really worried about anything with the fight, not because I'm conceited, but because I know without a doubt that I'm putting in the best camp I can put in. I'm putting in the most amount of work that I can put in. I'm prepared for wherever the fight goes. And I honestly feel like whatever happens, I'm going to win this chess match.
And before we just before we wrap it up, Rick, can you go ahead and for people watching now, can you go ahead and throw out that information where they can catch the fight on internet or whatever, or on pay-per-view?
Yep, should be on fight.tv, and it'll be Showcase MMA. The name of the event this time around will be Checkmate. It'll be September the 3rd. Pay-per-view should start at approximately 7 o'clock. If I am incorrect about the online location, Showcase MMA Facebook website their Facebook will have the link to be able to order the pay-per-views. If you need tickets, DM me or Jeremy or Mary Mitchell or the gym at Advantage Martial Arts, or stop by the gym. And we've got physical tickets. There are still a few left, but it should 100% be a packed out, sold out show. There will be bets that can be placed on Action 247.
Okay.
That's a betting app out of Tennessee. You can bet on the pro fights. They probably won't have them up until that day. I guarantee you I'll be an underdog. So if you make your money, please let me know. And if you have a bunch of money, Jeremy Mitchell will be the huge favorite in his fight. Guarantee you to bet on that one, though, too.
Brett Bell's also wanting a fight prediction.
Fight prediction. I win by split decision in a super entertaining, bloody fight.
Yeah, but you got to do the Clubber Lang thing. Prediction.
Before we wrap up here, before we start wrapping up here, I do have one more question.
Yeah.
At GGTV, we really want to promote messages of hope for kids in the community and adults too, because there's a lot of people that live in small town USA that have big dreams. Say something to those kids that might watch this that's got big dreams to be an MMA fighter or to be a professional athlete. Give them a little piece of advice you wish you had as a kid that might help them see their dreams come true.
So, I'm trying to figure out a nice, the polite way to say this, and there's really not a polite way to say it. Fuck what everybody thinks, guys. Do what you want. If your dream is to be an NFL player, guess what? We got a Super Bowl champion from small town USA.
Yeah.
Your dream is to be a professional fighter, guess what? You got somebody that's made it to the biggest stage in the world in professional fighting from small town USA. There is nobody that can tell you you can't do whatever you want to do, and there's no dream that's unachievable. All you have to do is set your mind to it and put the work in and keep doing it. There's going to be days that you don't want to do it. But if you just, even on those days, if you do the things that you don't want to do, it's going to become habit and just become easy and become natural. And you're going to continue to take one step closer every day to your dream. Even when people say no, do it anyway. You guys can do it. Nobody can take it from you at all. I'm here to tell you that I've been told every time I turn around, you'll never get paid to fight. You'll never win a professional fight. You'll never make it on TV. You'll never do this for the community. You'll be in jail by the time you do this. You won't have no kind of job. Guys, I'm not in jail. I've been on pay-per-view. I've been on TV. Like we get paid to fight. We have this huge platform for punching people in the face. And you like me for it now. These are all the things that all these things people told me I would never be liked for. And here we are. We're all liked for it now. So when somebody tells you no and you can't do it, your mindset to it, do it. You got it. You need a hand, you need a push in the right direction, shoot me a message. I'll tell you, you can do it. I'll help coach you because you can do it.
That's awesome, dude. That's you can't give a better answer than that. And Rick, you know what? We here at GGTV, man, we thank you for taking your time out of your family's vacation and taking the time and just talking to us about you know where you've been, how you got started, where you've been, where you're going next month, what you're doing, and just taking the time and talking to us, man. We really appreciate it. Seriously.
That's a class act right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Class act.
Really enjoy the platform, guys, and I really appreciate you guys because without you guys, then there's a huge set and section of people that would have never known what we've got in our area, and vice versa. My platform of people now know what we've got going on here at Jerd Nation. So let's keep on keeping on, guys.
Yeah,
as Matthew would say, gotta keep on keeping on.
Keep on. Betsy Titus says, you know, that's my boy, and Brent Bell comes in saying, "Great watch, guys. Rick, good luck, man." That's what he wants to wish you well, bro.
Thank you guys very much. I look forward to talking to you guys after the fight. Even if you can't make it out, win, lose, or draw, we'll do an interview after the fight.
I was going to say, you guarantee us a post-fight interview,
yes,
man.
Sir. I do, 100%. Right after the fight, after everything gets settled down, we'll get in touch and get it figured out.
What you saying? You got anything else, Sammy?
No, I'm was really looking forward to this, and I think it went extremely well. I'm glad to have gotten to talk to you, Rick. That's what we're hoping to accomplish with the Jerd Nation is spread a little bit of hope, spread a little bit of publicity for the folks in our community that's doing big things that people may not know about. Besides the video games and the food reviews and all that, anybody that's watching, if you got something you want to see us do, or if you know somebody that's on the verge of doing something big and they need a little push, man, send them our way. That's what we're here for. That's the role in the community that we're trying to take on. Just Rick, I'm so glad that we got to do this, man.
No, I appreciate you guys. Can I shout out sponsors right fast?
No,
hit
go,
them,
man. Go.
Hit them all.
Hey, first off, thanks. First and foremost to GGTV. Appreciate you guys for giving me the opportunity to be able to talk a little bit about myself and our gym. Second, Advantage Martial Arts, the whole team over there. I really appreciate those guys. And we've got Wolfman Tattoo, Royal Fades. All of these guys are local businesses. The Rail Yard Restaurant over in Bluefield, the Clover Club up that way, Evolution Fitness out by Kroger's in Princeton. And I think that's everybody now.
Hey, if you're watching, if you're watching and you want to sponsor Rick, help him with some of the travel costs or some of the training costs, give him a shout out.
Always looking for sponsors. Absolutely, always looking for sponsors. I actually have a really awesome T-shirt coming out for this fight that I was hoping would be ready for tonight because it plays perfect with this podcast. It's not quite ready yet, but be on the lookout for your very own Slick Rick Street Fighter style shirt coming out soon.
Ooh, Street Fighter style. I like it.
Yeah,
yes, I love it, man. We're gonna have my favorite game combination on the front of the shirt.
We're gonna have to get us some, man. Definitely.
Forward, down, angle, punch.
Oh, you can.
Yes, sir.
Rick, again, man, thank you very, very much for taking the time and being with us tonight, dude. And you know what? Get back to your family and go catch some sand crabs with your kids.
Thank you, guys. Hey, you guys have a great evening. We look forward to talking to you guys again soon.
All right, guys, that's it. That's it for us tonight. We're here with our special guest, Rick Caruso out of Princeton, West Virginia. Our mixed martial artist fighter locally. He's got a fight coming up next month, and that's his story, guys. We thank you for being with us tonight, and you know what? We'll see you next time when we see you next time. Good night, guys, and take it easy. And that's a wrap.